This article is very true. In China, there is a massive amount of pressure from society, from family, to get married. As an American man and coming from a pretty liberal family, I never felt this pressure personally, and it's never been something that I've wanted to do. Quite frankly, I'm not anti marriage, it's just something that's not right for me. But in China, man, I tell you, I meet so many young people, both women and men, who it seems like every day their sole goal is to find their soulmate. And unfortunately, I have to think that it is so prevalent in their lives, I think it's rather distracting. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rojo Reads the News. I have an article here from Panda Guides that talks about this issue. The original source of this article was the New York Times. China, where the pressure to marry is strong. Again, another hair growth serum ad. I don't know why, but there's a lot of these ads for removing hair, unwanted hair, all over these. I don't have that problem. You just wait a little while and it'll happen. Every morning, Leng Shuimeng goes online to read the latest postings from Ayawawa, one of China's most popular advice columnists. I've learned a lot from Ayawawa, said Miss Liang, 29, an office clerk in Beijing. I wish I'd started following her before my first marriage failed. First marriage failed. That is also something that is becoming quite a phenomenon here in China, especially in the younger generation. There's so much pressure to find a mate and get married that they rush into things and then they're divorced by the time they're 22, 23. It happens a lot in every country, but in China, these rates are rising every year at a phenomenal rate. Ayawawa is the online name of Yang Bi Yang, one of several online advice dispensers who have won celebrity in China by tapping into urban women's anxieties about finding a man to marry. A former model, author of 9 books, and she says one of the first Chinese admitted to Mensa, the high IQ society, Miss Yang has 2.8 million followers on Weibo, a Twitter-like messaging service, and 1.3 million on WeChat, the social media platform where she answers readers' questions. Since I was very young, even before I had my first relationship, I've been very good at giving advice on relationships to people around me, Miss Yang said in an interview. Although women in their 20s are greatly outnumbered by men in the same age group in China, a product in part of the since abandoned one-child family policy and the cultural preference for sons, they face enormous pressure to marry. Those who do not have a husband by the age of 27 are routinely branded as leftover women with diminishing value in the dating market. This is a very real thing. I've talked with many people about this, both men and women, and it's true. I've met many men and I ask them, what's the first thing that you look for in a girl? And they say, age. If they're over this age, I don't want to marry them. And it's not necessarily because they don't want to marry them. It's usually the family pressures them to find a young partner. This idea that there's more men than women is very true as well. However, it's almost the opposite in some of the major cities. If you go to some of the major cities, I think statistically there are more women than men in the major cities. It's when you go out to the rural parts of China where you don't find any women. It's mostly grandmas and young children. But women of working age, 20s, 30s, 40s, you will almost never find them living in the countryside. They're all in the major cities. Many of these leftover women are well-educated urban professionals in a society where men prefer women who are younger and less successful than themselves. The surplus of bachelors shows up mostly on the other end of the spectrum, poor rural men. There it is. Prompting the state-run All China Women's Federation to urge women to lower their standards, lest they, too, end up as leftovers. Lower your standards, ladies. The stress surrounding the search for a suitable partner has given rise to highly rated television dating shows and public matchmaking events, and to advice columnists like Ayawawa, who can detail the techniques for dating and marrying a man. Yes, that's also very true. All over Chinese television are these dating shows, which are very popular, and these talent singing shows that are also very, very popular. And actually kind of fun to watch. Not the dating shows, but the talent shows, they're like, America's Got Talent or something like that. And they're they're pretty good. They're a good watch, I won't lie. The columnists have their critics who accuse them of reinforcing gender stereotypes, but the columnists counter that they are simply acknowledging reality. Our world has been hijacked by political correctness, Miss Young said. I'm criticized for telling the truth about the differences between men and women. She compared managing a relationship to taking an examination. If there's something wrong with the exam, it's not my job to change how it works, but to tell my followers how to take the exam and score a high grade under the existing circumstances. Okay, I can follow that logic. That makes sense to me. Yeah. Miss Young wishes she'd paid attention earlier. Then I'd have understood the importance of women's MV and PU. As Aiwa explains on her WeChat homepage, MV stands for mate value, and PU refers to paternity uncertainty. Very interesting. 2 more acronyms that I gotta put into my word bank. She elaborated, a man's MV is determined by his age, height, looks, wealth, IQ, emotional quotient, sexual capacity, and willingness to make a long-term commitment. The 8 elements in a woman's MV are her age, looks, height, bra cup size, weight, academic degrees, personality, and family background. Other than the bra cup size, I think you can use all of these terms for both sexes. I mean, age, height, looks, that's a given, right? Wealth, IQ, emotional quotient, sexual capacity. These are also very important things for women as well. Just as for men, family background, personality, academic degrees, these are all important qualities for men too. So I'm not sure I agree with that one. As for PU, Aiwawa said, in human evolutionary history, a man's great concern is that he cannot be certain if he is the father of his partner's child. So she advises her female readers, don't wear revealing clothes. Don't be always posting pictures of yourself drinking in a bar. Be a lady, speak softly, be modest. Different strokes for different folks. Might work for some men, but, it doesn't work for all men. Her suggestions to women include letting the man take the lead. Don't call him for the first few dates. Don't have sex for the first few months. In response to one young woman's request for advice about a suitor, she counseled, hold back, make him invest more in you, meaning both time and money. Ooh, I completely disagree with this. In my experience, and what I want is equal investment. You're looking for a partner, right? Partners of equal investment. That's the way I look at things. So I think that this advice is rather dangerous and probably will lead to results that they don't want. Miss Young credits Aiwawa's advice with rescuing her romantic life. She's now engaged to be married. Good for her. Many of Aiwawa's fans consider her the personification of the success they crave for themselves. Attractive, married to a man she describes as a loving husband, the mother of 2 children. By contrast, Lu Qi, a popular online relationship advisor with 26 million followers on Weibo, owes much of his credibility to being a single man in his early 30s, who presumably knows firsthand what such men really think of women. He also said that his advice was based on extensive research in the social sciences and psychology. So now we have a man's point of view. Chinese schools don't offer a proper education in love and relationship. Do any schools offer that? Really? People get their ideas mostly from TV dramas. Yes, that's a very, very large problem, is that there's just too many dramas. That's interesting. I think my light broke. I just realized it just now. I don't know why it won't turn on. Okay, well, I think I figured out how to fix the light. Okay, let's continue. Asked whether he really believed there were rules governing love, he said, you can't measure love, of course, but there are some rules that apply to all relationships and social interactions. He expounds on some of these in taped lectures he sells online, on such subjects as teaching women to solve relationship problems in a scientific way, overcoming lingering feelings from a former relationship, fighting a little third, a Chinese term for a third party in a relationship. The third wheel. Mr. Liu is also famous for sharing his doctrines on Weibo. For women, spending more time with a man deepens her love, but for a man, the longer he stays with a woman, the less he loves her, Mr. Liu posted this month. He said he wanted to empower women by teaching them to be pragmatist about what they want from men. In traditional China, women had an easier life, he said. They didn't need to work hard and have a career, though, of course, they lacked certain rights. Feminism has made women's lives harder, not easier. I'm teaching women how to get ahead. Lu Pin, a founder of Feminist Voices, an online journal devoted to women's issues, said the counsel provided by online advisors underlined how Chinese society should change. Both of them advise women to manipulate men to gain material benefits, Miss Lu said. And that's still prevalent, but not just in China. I think that's throughout the world. You know, you always have to, and of course, men do manipulate women in different ways too. So the question is, why in China is it women who scheme to get men to commit to marriage? Why, when it comes to marriage, are women the sellers and men the buyers? It's because women don't have the space to develop themselves. That's kind of a controversial topic in modern China, I think. She said economic progress in China had not been accompanied by progress on gender relations. It's sad to see when the economy has produced so many more opportunities that more and more women believe that getting married is superior to working hard and achieving a successful career. Some of the women who are not married, who are my students, in class, they, as you get to know them, they will reveal that yes, they are successful and they're focused on their career, but they would drop it all on a heartbeat if they could find a suitable husband. Miss Liang shrugs off the criticism of the advice she credits with helping her find a new husband. Sometimes Aiwawa fans meet on weekends to discuss how to improve their MV. Miss Liang, for example, is trying to lose weight and improve her makeup skills and is practicing baking. Okay. Losing weight, improving your appearance, having a hobby. I mean, you should be doing this anyways. The motivation shouldn't be to find a husband. That should be to improve yourself, right? As for the charge that online advisors promote a backward view of gender relations, she said, the differences between men and women are inborn. I take these ideas seriously because I want a better life for myself, not because I'm eager to make the world better for women. So, an interesting read. I'm very interested in male-female dynamics. As a bachelor, this is a big part of my life and will continue to be. And I find these topics rather satisfying. And it's also interesting to see how technology changes, these dynamics between men and women too. If you look at it, if you step back and look at it from a macro standpoint, it's a fascinating subject matter. What do you think? Comment below, let me know.